Ladies and gentlemen of the Ravens flock and NFL Nation alike, my name is Christopher Linfont from BaltimoreFeather.com, coming at you with another prospect review. We are just a few days away from the NFL draft at this point, and of course we're going to finish out our prospect reviews. Today we've got Kelvin Harmon, the wide receiver out of NC State, one of the biggest sleepers in the draft after I took a look at him on the tape, and we're going to of course show you why I think that here. But first, if you are not a Ravens fan, feel free to stay around. This is going to be geared towards the Ravens on drafting Kelvin Harmon, but you will learn the ins and outs of Kelvin Harmon's game. Anyway, if you're looking to see if your team will draft him this Thursday, actually, or Friday, depending on when he goes. Some people think he'll go in the first round. Some people think he'll go in the second or third round. But there's one thing that's for certain on Kelvin Harmon, and that he's a pretty darn good football player. And if we want to take a look at his stats real quick, and before you do that, make sure to subscribe if you like the content today, and hit that notification bell to be informed when our next videos are. We always appreciate it. Anyway, getting into the combine results here, of course, you've got his height at 6'2". He's pretty darn tall for your average person, but pretty average for your average NFL wide receiver there. 221 pounds, 31.5-inch arm length, 9.5-inch hands, 40-yard dash time, 4.6. Not great, but not terrible. He's about average for a wide receiver. He's not a speed guy at all. Bench press reps, 18 reps. I would like to see more for Kelvin Harmon. It's okay. It's not great. Vertical jump, a little disappointing there, 32.5 inches. That's kind of low for what he is going to do in the tape. Broad jump, 117 inches. 3-cone drill, 7.15 seconds. And 20-yard shuttle, 4.32 seconds. Kelvin Harmon, pretty average in this NFL Combine. But, of course, the height is very important. He is a big receiver. You're going to see in the tape, a guy who's going to try to make some contested catches on the sideline. You're going to need that height. You're going to need that weight. And, of course, you're going to need that 31.5-inch arm length. It's okay. It's not great. The hand size is a little small, I think. 9.5-inch hands could be better for a wide receiver. But, of course, he can't make his hands any bigger. So Kelvin Harmon will go in with that. But it doesn't seem to deter him at all in the tape, and you'll get to see that in a second here. Everything else about the Combine, though, he was fine. Again, that 40-yard dash time, 4.6 seconds. He is not your speed burner down the field. He is more of a go up and get the football, stay in bounds type receiver. Now, if we take a look at his stats at North Carolina State, you can see his production was very good in that ACC conference. His freshman year, he comes into North Carolina State in 2016 and does some nice things for them. Plays in 10 games, receives for 27 catches for 462 yards, 5 touchdowns, an average of 17.1 yards per catch. Pretty darn good for Kelvin Harmon. Made some great plays there as a freshman. That's all you can really ask for. But in his sophomore year, he jumps exponentially here. Plays in 13 games, so all 12 games and a bowl game. 69 receptions for 17 yards, over 1,000 yards his sophomore year. 14.7 average, and just 1 touchdown less, 4. But, of course, those yards, got to take them. North Carolina State went to a bowl game that year, obviously. And then his junior year, he plays in all 12 regular season games, I guess. Doesn't include that bowl game, I'm not really sure. But he does receive for more passes, 81 this time, 1186 yards on the year, 14.6 average, and 7 touchdowns in that junior year. And that's why he came out of college, because of that high production. And, of course, what you're going to see on the tape. Always great when you see a guy going up incrementally as he is here in production. Goes from 27 catches for 462 to 69 catches for 1017 to 81 catches for 1186. And, of course, it's also important to see that he is producing every year as well. It's not just 2 bad years and a really good year, or one, a decent year and 2 bad years, or, something like that. No, he's producing consistently whenever he gets a chance. He's going to receive and do some things for you. And, of course, those 5 touchdowns his freshman year showed me right away that he, whatever his role in offense is going to be, it's going to be beneficial to that offense because he'll find a way to use him. Kelvin Harmon, great college production to start with. And we're going to take a look here at the tape and see what he can do. So now we're going to jump into Kelvin Harmon's tape. And the first game we're going to take a look at is the Boston College game from 2018. All our games are going to be the most recent year, 2018. And Boston College had a pretty good year, so this is a decent opponent for Kelvin Harmon. Now, the first play we're going to take a look at it's just a great awareness play by Kelvin Harmon. You're going to see that the pass, it's a little behind him, I'm not going to lie. But he makes a nice catch, and this is actually Ryan Finley, quarterback projected to go maybe in the second or third round this year. So, it's a little bit behind. The lead wasn't great, but Kelvin Harmon made the adjustment to get that ball. It shows off his awareness and his catching abilities, and his catching abilities are really at the center of his game as a wide receiver. It's important to be able to catch, and he catches a lot of great passes here. We're going to get way ahead here into the second quarter and take a look at a catch I really like and I want you to see pretty quickly, because this is really what defines Kelvin Harmon as a receiver. So Ryan Finley looks to the right and he finds Kelvin Harmon, and watch how he comes down with this ball. Does that remind you of anybody? Maybe in a Super Bowl against the Patriots a couple years ago? Reminds me a lot of Julio Jones and what he can do on the sideline. And Kelvin Harmon lives for the sideline. The sideline is his best friend. He makes a ton of plays on the sideline. He is, as I want to call him now after watching all of this tape, the sideline god is essentially what he is. He catches almost everything that comes from the sideline. Not this one, though. This one's a bit of an outlier. Kelvin Harmon, it's a little bit behind him, I think. But on the replay, you'll see he should have had that ball, right? It was in his hands. But a lot of touching and grabbing there by the corner, and I'm sure he was doing a little bit back and forth there, but he couldn't hold on. But he follows it up with a great play here. And guess what? Guess where this is going to be? It's on the sideline, and look at that. I mean, that's unbelievable what Kelvin Harmon can do with his feet. That's frankly unbelievable. You don't get receivers that can do this a lot in the NFL. And he gets both feet in bounds. Not just one foot that you need in college. He gets both down. This is very NFL-like by Kelvin Harmon. Just great plays all around. And guess what? He's going to follow this up with another sideline catch. And this is all, consecutive in the tape here. So, I mean, look at that one. That's just concentration, just awareness, knows where to be. And great, though, by Ryan Finley, too. Harmon doesn't have to adjust. He just sits there, makes sure both feet are already in bounds for when he makes the catch, and holds on to the football. Just a great start to this tape for Kelvin Harmon here. And we're going to skip ahead again. He's on the bottom of your screen. And what you're going to see in this play is, he can catch in the open field too. It's not just a sideline. Doesn't just live for the sideline. I mean, he lives for the sideline in the sense that that's where his most of his production is going to come for you. But he can make open field catches. But you also notice he's not really fighting for extra yards here. Or he's not able to, at least. And that's not what he's meant to do. He's meant to be your sideline guy. And he's not going to get a lot of rack yards. And you're going to see that throughout the tape. He's just going to catch the ball and basically go down. But he's going to catch the ball very well and do it in some really crazy proportions. If we skip ahead here, we can see a good sideline catch here. I don't think he gets in the end zone. He's close. See, again, he's not going to get rack yards. He's not going to get yards after contact. But he's going to catch the ball. So, I mean, he could be a very valuable asset, not only to the Ravens, but whatever team ends up drafting him, just alone on what he can do catching on the sideline. Would make a good possession wide receiver, right? Now, here you have him. This is just an end zone shot right here, and here's probably the best rack play of the game. Makes the catch. Not really sure how he gets in there. He shrugs off maybe two defenders. Yeah, two defenders. One guy just can't get him. The other guy pushes him, but it's too late. And he walks right in. And this is just a great play by both Ryan Finley and Kelvin Harmon. I don't know if Kelvin Harmon could do everything that he does without a great passer like Ryan Finley. I was very impressed with him. And great play there by Harmon to get into the end zone. And if we speed it up a little bit and go to one of these plays here, you will see a deep shot down the middle. But it's not caught by Kelvin Harmon. It was a good route. But two defenders coming both ways. Gets spun around. Not a great play. I don't know if I would have thrown that if I was Ryan Finley. But he tried to get that ball, just was not able to get it. And this will be the end of this far into the tape. We are going to go back and look at some other things before we move on to the next one. Here you go. He's on the top of your screen, and he gets it, and there he goes down. Again, not going to get a lot of yak, not going to get a lot of rack, but he's going to get the catch. And that might be the most important thing a wide receiver can do. Even if he's not going to get far afterwards, if he can catch the ball, he's going to be a lot better than some guys who just can't catch the ball, especially in this draft class, because there are a lot of them who have all the other abilities but can't seem to consistently catch the football, which is troubling when receiver is, your position and receiving is your number one job. But Kelvin Harmon is able to do it. Now, of course, if you've watched my previous wide receiver reviews, I'm going to check out if he can block or not, right? It's a staple for the Ravens offense. It's a staple for any running team to have a good blocker as your wide receiver. And, he's not really a blocker. He only attempts it a few times. It was kind of hard for me to find on the tape. This is one of them. Doesn't really hold on to that guy at all. He even looks trying to hold his jersey, it looks like, but just can't maintain that block. So this might be a detriment to a Ravens offense. Something that, you're going to need a guy to do is block in Baltimore. If he can't block, that could be a problem. Now here he is blocking. I think this is a better attempt here. Holds him for a longer. It might be the same guy. I'm not sure, actually. But better technique, he reaches up for those shoulders and it makes sure he can't get away from him. Just better overall block for Kelvin Harmon there. And he does have some really nice blocks of the game, but these are really the only really good blocks you're going to see here on the tape today. He's got some questions at blocking. There's no question about that. Here he is, and this is a pretty good block, I think. Holds his guy really well. And that's still number 21. That's the guy he's blocked maybe on 3 attempts now. Overall, really good block. You can see way in the future here. If we speed up towards the end of the game, he has a nice block down here as well. Right there at the top of your screen. Not the first block. I'm talking about the second block right here. How he makes sure. If he doesn't make that block, that running back or slot receiver, whatever he is, doesn't have the lane he's going to get. So, good block there. And this last one's a dominant block. But again, this is really the only time we're going to see him block well. It's just kind of hard to find on this tape. In all honesty, it really was. He definitely has the ability to block. But it's just not a lot of them. I'm sorry, I went to the wrong play here. This is the block I'm talking about right here. This one's pretty dominant. He just holds that guy, and he's not going anywhere. Of course, it's not really affecting the play, but it's a good block nonetheless. So now we're going to move on to the Virginia tape as we segue over to our next video here. UVA against NC State University. And we're going to start slowing down with what we see here from him because I already demonstrated to you exactly what he's going to be. I'm just going to show you things to back it up to make sure that he's consistent here. First play of the game, it looks like, or at least passing-wise, sideline catch. Lives for the sidelines. That's what he wants. That's where he's most comfortable, and that's where he's going to make the most plays for you, is on that sideline. But here we go. Maybe this is a bit of his combine underperformance in the vertical jump showing off, but he loses this jump ball. He doesn't win that one. It's actually picked off. When you've got, 6'2", you should be able to do it, but he doesn't jump very far. He's not pushing up far enough with it, right? He can catch some contested balls we saw, but he's best when the ball is right there and he's in a difficult position to make it. He'll make that catch. But sometimes when he's going up against bigger and stronger guys, who may be a little bit more athletic than him, it might be a problem. Let's go over to this point in the game here. He's going to be targeted here. Now, he's not going to catch this ball. It's way too in front, but we can see him hitting his top speed, right? And it's the 4.6. He's not Andy Isabella, who we're going to see in my next prospect review, running a 4.31. He's not DK Metcalf. He's running a 4.6. And this might be the detriment here. If you have Lamar Jackson back there, not the most accurate passer in the world. If he throws it a little too far, we might be seeing a lot of that in Baltimore next year. Maybe not. Maybe Lamar Jackson would become a better thrower, more accurate by the end of this offseason. But if you're Eric DeCosta, you got to prepare for, everything. And if it's possible, then this might not be the best fit here. Now, he's not slow for a wide receiver, but he's not necessarily fast either, right? But that's not what he's asked to do in this NC State offense. And credit to him, he does well in what he's asked to do in this NC State offense. Let's look at this play here. You see on here, he's at the top of your screen. He is going to catch this ball and pushed out of bounds. He tries to fight, maybe gets a yard, but can't get far on that. And again, notice where it is. It's near the sideline, right? Let's take a look up here. On this play, you see him at the top of your screen. And guess what? Guess where he's going with this? Sideline. Stays in bounds. After that hit, I believe. But a great catch. And he lives for the sideline. Again, I keep saying it over and over again, but he's probably one of the best sideline catchers I've seen ever scouting here. It's really his specialty. And I just want to show you this one too. This is an amazing, the one I'm about to show you is it's a godlike catch, right? This is better than Antonio Brown, right? I mean, look at this catch. Finley's gonna wait a little bit. He's gonna run out. He's gonna find Harmon. I mean, what the heck is that? How does he make this catch? And the awareness too. He looks back. He sees his quarterback, and he's got this crossing pattern, and his quarterback's running, and he knows he's got to get away and get somewhere where he can get thrown to. And he makes that catch. I mean, look at that. I mean, how does this happen? I think he gets both feet. He gets at least 1 foot, so this counts in college. I don't know if he gets both feet. It looks like it. It's tough to say. But he gets the catch, and that's all we care about. And no shade to Antonio Brown. He probably can do a better catch than that. But I'm just saying, it's pretty darn good. Here we go. Bottom of your screen. You can see his stutter step move. It's tough to see his routes. I always want to comment on the route running. But it's really tough from the angles we have on film here. I mean, we don't see most of the routes. But you can see him on here. He's stutter stepping. And it's overthrown. I'm trying to get back to the stutter step here. There it is. You see that? So, and he may have been held there. I think he was actually. But the stutter step, that's a move that a lot of wide receivers do to make sure that they can get, their guy to bite or get past their guy or whatever. And I want to show you another play here. This is right after on the tape here. We're going to see him attempt to do a one-hand catch. Oh, but ever so close, ever so far. He's close. He's really close. But again, he's not a spectacular, hands guy. He's a possession wide receiver. He's not a jump ball guy. He's really a possession guy that's going to be able to get it in bounds and catch most of the passes that come towards him. But he's not going to make, Odell Beckham catches. He'll make sideline amazing catches that resemble Julio Jones, but he's not going to make back-breaking, catches like, that one may have been. We take a look at this last play up here. We're going to see him, another great sideline catch. I mean, look at that one. That one's amazing. On that cornerback, too. Doesn't take no for an answer. He's running that route. I mean, that's just amazing. And he gets down, inbounds, touchdown. Kelvin Harmon, a great, great receiving play. And that's going to end our film review here for Virginia. Now we do have one more game. Not a lot of plays to show you in this Florida State game, in all honesty. Nothing new. I just want to go over some of the things that, might be interesting to see. Again, how many times do I have to show it? Probably showed it way too many times. But, I mean, this is not an anomaly to one game, not an anomaly to two game. He's making sideline catches all day long out here. Look at this one. Whoa. That's unbelievable. He catches it, right? He goes back to get it. Goes up in the air. 1 foot, 2 foot. He gets them both down. He's showing off here. He only needs 1 foot in college. But he's telling the NFL scouts, look what I can do. I can do what Julio does. I mean, this is a Julio Jones type catch here. Unbelievable production there for Kelvin Harmon. We'll go way up to maybe the end of the first quarter here. And we're going to see, another example of that fighting through contact Contact, though, not his specialty. Catch, I mean, he gets a few yards, and that's it. He's not pushing people. He's not dragging people. He's just going to make decent catches for you. And really good ones on the sideline. That's what you should learn from this. Kelvin Harmon on this play, bottom of your screen, throw, caught, touchdown, and just shakes off the defender at the end there, but he just get tackled. Of course, it's in the end zone. Who cares? Great catch by Kelvin Harmon. Look at that catch. I mean, that's just beautiful. That might be a guy Lamar Jackson would like to throw to in the end zone. That might be. Maybe he's just a better Michael Crabtree. I don't know. But I think he has some real nice upsides to him. And, of course, we'll get into the strengths and weaknesses right now. So going over his strengths and weaknesses, Kelvin Harmon is obviously a sideline monster, a sideline god. He's just going to make plays on the sideline all day long. I would expect him to do very well with this in the NFL as well. There's no indication to me that he would slow down. And he makes some phenomenal NFL-like catches at NC State here. He has good size for a receiver. Not great size, but good size. Solid hands. And decent blocking abilities, although I do want to see more of it on tape. Now, if we look at his weaknesses, though, doesn't get extra yards. He's not going to get your rack. He's not going to get your yak. No spectacular catches. He's failed a couple one-hand catches, so he's not going to be a spectacular catch kind of receiver. He's going to be a possession guy that's going to get the ball and basically go down with it afterwards. He's not super fast. He's got low acceleration, I would say. The 4.6 is decent, but that low acceleration off the line isn't great. He's really going to be, a possession guy who's going to keep the ball in bounds for you, but he can do it phenomenally well. So, I mean, there's a lot of great points for Kelvin Harmon here, and I think he's a very good receiver. I'm going to rank him a 7.2 out of 10.0. That would give him a mid-second round grade, but I think he's a sleeper. I'm a little hesitant to rank him up there with some more receivers who could do more, like N'Keal Harry, like A.J. Brown. But, the ability he has, I think he could make a really good fit on a really good team. I would not be surprised if he went in the first round. But I think maybe a mid-second round grade is probably best for him. Compared to the other wide receivers, like even Deebo Samuel, I think is slightly better. But again, he has a lot of great aspects. And with the right team, with the guys who know how to do it, know where he fits, and know how to use him correctly, he could be a stud in the NFL. Can the Ravens get him? Probably not. They'd have to trade back into the second round. Again, they don't have a second round pick. They traded away last year to Philadelphia to get Lamar Jackson. So if they want Kelvin Harmon, they're going to have to go get him in the first round or trade back into the second round. Is he a boom or bust? I'm going to say he's a boom as long as he's on the right team. Listen, he's a good player. He's got a lot of great upsides to him. And I think he could do really well in the NFL. Should the Baltimore Ravens get him? I don't think so, honestly, because he's not a receiver that's going to be a number one guy. He's going to be a significantly big role player on a team, but he's not going to be a do-it-all guy. We have guys like Willie Snead already, Jordan Lasley, and Jaleel Scott. Jaleel Scott's supposed to be a lot like him. Taken the 5th round last year, I believe, but made a lot of plays. Was a lot tall. I think he was taller. I think he's more like 6'5". But he made plays like this. So, I'd rather have a guy like N'Keal Harry, who's a bit more well-rounded, does a bit more for me, fights a little harder on those yak. And, I'm not criticizing Kelvin Harmon here. I don't think he has all the ability to be able to grab some yards after contact or something like that, because he does other things exceptionally well. If Baltimore trades in the second round, I think it should be for Deebo Samuel. I think he's just maybe a better receiver to fit in Lamar Jackson's offense. You need a guy who's going to be able to adjust and maybe catch some balls that are a little farther that we saw N'Keal Harry couldn't catch up to one, or it's going to be a little off. He has to go one-handed, maybe he has to catch that. Not N'Keal Harry. Kelvin Harmon may not be able to do that for us, but if he was with a much more accurate quarterback, I would say he'd be a fantastic fit. I could see him going to the Patriots. In all honesty, this is a typical Patriots pick here. Final thoughts, he's a sideline god, a monster on the sideline, potential sleeper of the draft. I think he's a great wide receiver, without a question. Great production, great skill. Again, that 7.2 grade. I'm only really taking it off because he's almost one-dimensional right now, but I think with a little bit of training, he could probably be able to beef up a little bit and fight for some yards after contact and improve those catches, those one-hand catches as well. We'll be continuing our draft coverage up and through the NFL draft this year, so make sure you subscribe to the Baltimore Feather YouTube channel, and of course check us out at BeMoreFeather on Twitter or at Chris Linfond, that's me, on Twitter, and of course you can go to BaltimoreFeather.com for all the latest and greatest Ravens news and updates. Make sure to check in on Wednesday evening at 4 p.m. for my full 7-round mock draft, every pick simulated from every team, and of course including the Baltimore Ravens. So if you're not a Ravens fan, you can see what I think about your team as well and what they're going to do. And I think there's going to be some nice surprises, especially in the first round, that I think are going to happen. This is all trying to be accurate, too. So I think there's some interesting things that are going to happen come Thursday night, and you'll get to see that all in my mock draft. So make sure you see that on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Again, I'm Chris Linfont for BaltimoreFeather.com. Signing out. I will see you in the next prospect review. Andy Isabella is coming up next.